How are you?
Hello.
Awesome.
Yes.
It's working. But check.
You want me to check?
Sure.
Check.
It should be working.
We'll talk.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
You came out under the warnings of a horrible life-ending storm.
I didn't even look.
4 inches of rain. I wish it was snow. It'd be 4 foot, right? Good morning. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Frankie Timmers. I'm the spiritual director here, and I'm so happy you're here. And I'm happy to anyone who's joining us on the live stream, either today or anytime in the future, because now we know they live forever. And we are in week 2 of December. Can you believe it's December? It's like, wow. Anyway, the year was had the theme of living out loud. And we're getting ready now to plan the theme for next year, and the journals are coming in, so they should be here next week. It's going to be a grand rising. And the theme for this month is living our wholeness. The beauty of that is that we explore this idea of whole, perfect, and complete, which is a very common affirmation in our movements. But do we always experience it, or do we always demonstrate it? Maybe not so much. So let's explore that, and let's reimagine what we mean when we say the word wholeness. Because sometimes we get caught in the lingo of science of mind, and it becomes not to mean anything. So we're going to explore that, and then we're going to think about the idea of, well, what if we're experiencing the opposite, and can we turn it into a dance instead of a fight or a struggle? And then I'm here by myself today. We have no assisting practitioner, so I'm going to do a spiritual practice with all of us so we can more deeply experience our inherent wholeness. So find us on the website, cslmorristown.org, where there are all kinds of events happening right now, and I will mention some of them later. And you can, of course, find us on Facebook Live, on YouTube. I think occasionally we're still on Twitter, but we're on Meetup, and so there's lots, and Instagram, there's lots of places to find us. So let's do our Namaste practice. Namaste is the Sanskrit word for the divinity in me blesses the divinity in you. And what I find that we often think about giving it away, but today really remember to also receive it. So put your hands together and just bow to someone and say, Namaste.
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 How sweet you all are, making sure you get everybody. Love that. So let's treat our word for affirmative prayer. So right here, right now, as we find ourselves sitting in this space, having made a decision to be here today, whether it's online or in person, we already are in this space of oneness. We already are living the intention of experiencing our inherent wholeness, that part of us that never knows of any brokenness. Whether we call this our spirit, our light, our soul, our true nature, it has so many names. But we come with this wholeness into the world, and then we bump into beliefs that say, well, not so much. And so today we discover that when we experience that, it's not a punishment or a burden. It's an opportunity for a deeper connection with our inherent wholeness. It's an opportunity to heal. It's an opportunity to become conscious of some of the beliefs we have embodied without even realizing it, and to release them and replace them with truth principles. So I'm excited about that. And I know we all are excited about it, or we would not be here today. And so we allow the blessing of our own inner discoveries today be a gift, not just to ourselves, but everyone around us. And so with awe and gratitude then, we allow this to unfold and demonstrate in the highest and best ways. And so it is.
And so it is.
So, I need my notes. So I am guessing that the affirmation that says whole, perfect, and complete is something that you've heard before. Yes? Most of us who are in this teaching have heard that affirmation. I'm whole, perfect, and complete. And my guess is that some of you have said it, written it, thought it, felt it 1,000,000 times in your lifetime. So surely you're there. Surely you have arrived at 24/7 feeling whole, perfect, and complete, right?
24/7.
No,
365.
me either. And what that tells me is that sometimes we use language and it stays here. It doesn't sink down into every fiber of our being. It doesn't show up when we struggle. It doesn't become an experience all the time. And what we as human beings tend to do is we tend to punish ourselves with that. Whether we're really aware of it or not. You know, because I don't think anybody walks around with a baseball bat and when they feel broken, incomplete, and unfinished, they beat themselves up. Even without a baseball bat in your hand, right? And so this whole idea of using affirmations is a very powerful idea that we must reimagine, that must become clear to us, that must become a different experience. What are some of the other affirmations that you might hear at times or that you say? Are there some affirmations that you commonly repeat or have heard?
I say this too shall pass.
This too shall pass.
There for the grace of God.
There for the grace of God go I. We were just talking about that.
Everything's going to be all right.
Everything's going to be all right.
Love is all there is.
Love is all there is. Yeah, so we all have something, right, that we might repeat over and over again. Let go, let God. That's a good one, right? And so those are the very common ones. And the reason we want to reimagine them is so that they become more alive, so that they become demonstrable, so that they become more real and they're just thoughts and words that we say. So here we say whole, perfect, and complete, and then we're going to explore that a little bit. But when that is not the experience, we are experiencing our brokenness. And I don't know one human being, I've never met one yet, that never experienced a sense of brokenness, that never has felt broken. And so maybe it is a part of the journey we're on, the human journey as well as the spiritual journey. The word perfect is a challenging word for many people because it's identified with the idea of perfection. Many human beings on this planet have this need for perfectionism, which is actually a form of self-abuse or abusing others, right? Because if I'm trying to be perfect, what does that mean? And how driven is that? And how much do I struggle with that when I'm feeling imperfect? So the whole idea is that imperfection is totally normal and natural. As human beings, we experience our own imperfection. And when we make peace with that, we realize that we're all imperfectly perfect. And then there's unfinished, incomplete. Well, of course, we're all a work in progress. We're all still learning things. We're all still growing. Anyone here done? I'm not. And I don't expect to. I don't expect to be done. It's a continuous unfolding journey. And when we truly feel that and live that and understand that, it's almost like life softens. We can relax. We can realize that all is well. We can trust that life is unfolding in divine right action. And so it is a dance, right? It's the both and. The both whole and broken. The both perfect and imperfect. The both complete and not quite yet. I very much believe in this teaching that says it's both and. It's not either or. And when we can make peace with that, we are free. And when we're free, we look at life and its challenges in a completely different way. We look at our own brokenness in a completely different way, because then we realize that the places where we feel broken are just the places where we're ready to grow and heal, where we're ready to make peace with ourselves and each other. So we find then that yes, we are spiritual and we are human. We are divine and we have an ego. It's the both and. And the idea then is to say, well, what do I identify with the most? Do I identify the most with my brokenness? Whether it's conditioning from the past, or a problem, or a recent experience, or a challenge that we have when we watch the news, or whatever it may be, right? Or do I identify with my inherent wholeness more? The whole idea of the spiritual journey is to make that shift to our identity being more connected with our inherent wholeness, with our spirit, with our soul, with the purity of our being, with our inherent wholeness. And yet we see so many people who are so identified with their brokenness. How often do you talk to somebody and you say, how are you? And they'll tell you how miserable they are, how broke they are, the health issues they have, the relationship challenges they have, right? So very often when we're in conversation with others, the conversation is more often about the troubles than the joys. And so that's telling. So we want to pay attention to how we communicate and what we talk about the most, right? Or even think about the most. So the other dance part is, how do I live with some of the burdens in my life? How do I live with some of the challenges? How do I live with some of the conditioning that I've experienced that did not acknowledge my wholeness? What do I do with those? And when we're on a spiritual path, we want to focus on healing. We want to focus on seeing them in a different light. We want to begin to tell a different story. That's not one of woe is me, but one of, oh wow, that was me. And I've overcome it this way and that way, and I'm healing in this way and that way. That's why we offer all the classes that we offer here. That's why I'm doing the discussion of the untethered soul, which is such a powerful process. The untethered soul is all about letting go of all that gets in the way so we can be free to fully express ourselves. I love part 4, which is what we're doing today, so I hope you can join us. So we work with the things that challenge us because we know we don't have to change it out here. We know the change has to come from within our own consciousness. So when I claim my inherent wholeness, I'm going to have a different experience than when I claim my inherent brokenness. Does that make sense? So Science of Mind magazine, and we have a few left, they are now 2 months at a time. So there's November and there's December. Oh my gosh, it's so good this month. There's this wonderful quote that was a quote on December 5th by John Kabat-Zinn. You are whole and also part of larger and larger circles of wholeness you may not even know about. You're never alone, and you already belong. You belong to life. You belong to this moment, this breath. This is for anyone that ever feels they don't belong. This is for anyone who ever feels alone or lonely. And now that we know that loneliness is an epidemic, it's important for us to go to the source and to remember that there is a place within where we're never alone. There is a place within where we truly do belong, because anything unlike it doesn't exist there. So we commune in that place. We have that holy communion that we can call a dance. And so, actually, you know what? It says I was supposed to read the Ernest Holmes quote. So, okay, let's do that one too. All human endeavor is an attempt to get back to first principles, to find such an inward wholeness that all sense of fear, doubt, and uncertainty vanishes. And so that's the work, right? Because the truth is, you and I are whole, perfect, and complete right now. And every moment, and every breath. So what then gets in the way? Our own belief, our own thoughts, our own ideas, which we become conscious of so we can keep bringing them into alignment with the truth. Truth being you're whole, perfect, and complete, exactly the way you are. And so we bump into ourselves, right? We begin to explore this and say, that's so interesting. I'm whole, perfect, and complete. Let me listen for that voice says, well, yeah, in a pig's eye. That ain't true. And let me explore that a little bit. Let me think about that. Let me reflect on that. Let me bring it into the fold of the oneness of all life. Let me bring it into my awareness that that is a limiting idea that is just not the truth. And so that's where the work is done. The dance is very simple then, which I talk about all the time. It's the dance of forgetting, remembering, forgetting, remembering, forgetting, remembering. That's the only thing that's happening to you. You may think it's your health, your relationships, money, your career, but it's really just one thing. You're remembering the truth or you're forgetting the truth. And when we're forgetting the truth, we know how to get back to remembrance. It's back to our spiritual practices, or taking a class, or calling a practitioner, or reading something that inspires you. And so the holiday season, and by the way, the ego doesn't like it to be that simple. The ego self likes to make it more complicated because it's afraid, right? So here we are on the holiday season, and I love this whole idea of the holiday season and exploring its roots. Because there was a time where Jesus wasn't yet born. He wasn't born in December anyway. I'll talk about that in a few weeks. And Christmas didn't exist yet, and Hanukkah didn't exist yet, and the Yule Fest in Scandinavia didn't exist yet. And the only thing that existed was the solstice, the winter solstice, which will be next week, when the pagans began to be so afraid because the days were getting shorter and the nights were getting longer, and they thought, oh my God, the world's coming to an end. That was probably when they first thought that. We still do, right? In different ways. But then the days started getting a little bit longer and a little bit longer and a little bit longer. And so all the holidays are all the holidays that are happening at this time are really about celebrating the return of the light. And so hence you have Hanukkah right now. And you have the 12, some say 13 days of Christmas. And you have the 12 days of Yule. And you have the 8, is it 8 or 7 days of Kwanzaa? 7 days of Kwanzaa. Right, and all that is woven together with this idea that the light is returning. But many people look to the outside, and we forget that in our teaching in metaphysics and in science of mind, it's about shining more brightly from the inside out. If I am truly embracing and believing my inherent wholeness, my light will be very bright. if we don't believe our inherent wholeness, perfection, and completeness, our light will be very dim. And you know this, because there's days where you feel your light is very bright, and then there's days where you kind of feel like, oh, it's almost going out, right? And everything in between. So the idea then is that it's both, right? The outer is a reflection of the inner, and the inner is a reflection of the outer, and we look to the outer to see what's happening at the inner level. So for those of you who don't have this Science of Mind magazine yet, I recommend that you get it either online. Barnes & Noble carries it. We have 4 left. Because there's an amazing article in here by Sean Ginwright. I hope I say his name right. He wrote a book called The 4 Pivots. I don't have that book yet, but it's on my list to read because it is the talk of the town amongst my colleagues. And what I love about knowing about him is that he is the 2023 spiritual hero in CSL. Every year we acknowledge somebody who's a spiritual hero in the world and is not a CSL person or minister. And he wrote a book called The 4 Pivots. And what's really important about The 4 Pivots is that he talks about when we wrestle with ourselves. He says, I don't call it wrestling with my demons. I call it wrestling with the flowers in my soul that haven't blossomed yet. Isn't that great? And he talks about this idea of taking responsibility for our wounds and triggers. Because if we don't take responsibility for them, we're going to see them out here and we're going to point fingers and we're going to blame someone else. Whether it's politicians, partners, parents, siblings, children, the world, whatever it may be, right? And so the next thing he talks about is focusing on what's possible rather than our pathology and our problems, which is kind of what I said earlier, is that where do we identify or focus on our brokenness or our wholeness? And then he talks about waking up to that inherent wholeness and making that be our service in the world, whether that is being a social activist or in prayer every day for humanity and the planet, or whatever it is that we do in service, which means we fill up and we give back. That's circulation, so we don't get constipated. Maybe literally, but not always, right? And so he talks about the 4 pivots, which is about reimagining ourselves and reimagining justice. The first one is awareness, from lens to mirror, right? Which is about realizing that the world is a reflection of us and not just a lens we look through. The second one is connection, from transactional to transformative relationships. Because transactional is always giving, receiving, and we keep score. The ego keeps score, right? This is about connection and a deeper sense of transformation using relationships. The third one is vision, from problem fixing to possibility creating, right? So instead of focusing on our problems, we look at, what's possible here? And the fourth one is presence, from hustle to flow. Anyone feel hustle or feel the hustle of life at times, maybe around the holidays? Mm-hmm. Move into the flow, which is about faith and trust, right? So he also goes into the 3 messages that he has for us as human beings. I'm just summarizing the article, so I recommend you read it. The first one is what we already know, that life is an inside job. And the way we talk about that in our teaching is we know that whatever it is that we need to live a fulfilling life is already within us. We don't have to get it from the outside in. We access it from the inside out and begin to explore, think about, pray about, and express and live. The second message he gives is that, what I said earlier, is that we're all perfectly imperfect. And what if we totally embrace that? That life is perfectly imperfect, and that when we're committed to that, it doesn't matter when we fall, because the falling is for us, not against us. And then the third message is, he says, don't forget who you are. He talks about what the Sufis talk about, polishing the mirror of the heart, which I love. But he says, you're all copper. And life is about polishing. Life tarnishes us a bit, right? And so then our practices are about polishing the tarnish away, polishing the copper. Alan Cohen, in Science of Mind magazine, oh no, where is it? Oh, it was today. He says this, and I want you to really hear this. I'm going to read it twice. Those who love you are not fooled by mistakes you have made or dark images you hold about yourself. They remember your beauty when you feel ugly, your wholeness when you feel broken, your innocence when you feel guilty, and your purpose when you're confused. We read it again. Those who love you are not fooled by mistakes you've made or dark images you hold about yourself. They remember your beauty when you feel ugly, your wholeness when you feel broken, your innocence when you feel guilty, and your purpose when you're confused. If you're sitting here and saying, nobody does that for me, you're lying, because I do. I know your wholeness. I know your beauty. I know your innocence. I know you've messed up a lot, and I love you anyway. And the same is true for me, right? So I've learned that this is true for me as well, with all the loved ones in my life. And so when you forget this truth, and it's in today's Science of Mind magazine, just know that I do. And if you need to be reminded, just call me or email me. I'll tell you. So what we're doing then today, what we're talking about is that spiritual life is living according to our inherent wholeness, not according to our inherent brokenness. Because that just wants to be healed, and it wants to be seen by us as life, as love, as grace. And so I invite you to make a wholeness resolution. Instead of a resolution to lose weight or start exercising or eat more chocolate or less chocolate, I'm for the more, it is a food group. And make a resolution to live according to your inherent wholeness. And after the music, and you're all invited to sing along, it's a Karen Drucker song, I'm going to do a spiritual practice for you to arrive at that wholeness resolution. Okay? All right.
I am healed, whole and
So I invite you to close your eyes. And just for a moment, feel yourself take a deeper breath than the one before. My apologies for that. Let's do this again. Take a deeper breath than the one you just took. And just let your whole body sink into that breath. Feel your mind fall into your heart so it becomes a little more quiet. And let yourself become fully present. Allowing the song that was just played, the music that was just played, settle into every cell and fiber of your being, healed, whole, and healthy. And know that there is within you a place that already knows that you are whole, perfect, and complete. Whether you call this your soul, your spirit, your essential beingness, your light, there is something within each and every one of us that already knows this completely. It's what we came in with when we were born. It's our inherent birthright. It is the absolute truth with a capital T in every moment, every breath, and every heartbeat. And then there's life with a small l, where things happen that say, no, you're not. See? I have proof that you're not whole. I have proof that you're not perfect. I have proof that you're not complete. And we begin to believe it because we don't just have that purity of spirit, but we have a personality, we have an ego. And so that part of us comes to believe the not. And then the struggle begins. The little bitty wars inside begin. But then we discover there is a spiritual life, a spiritual path. Because we know there's more to life than just that. And the dance begins. Forgetting, remembering, forgetting, remembering. And as we practice and as we heal and as we grow, the forgetting is less often and does not last as long. And the remembering is more present. And so today we resolve to identify more deeply with our inherent wholeness. So ask yourself, how is my wholeness to be lived and expressed more starting today? Where and how do I want to experience my inherent wholeness more and more deeply? make a promise to yourself, a vow, a resolution to be in service to that desire, to that promise. And think of the ways as well, whether it is a daily treatment or prayer, a meditation practice, a specific book, a reaching out to a practitioner, ways to love yourself more, whatever it is, put some action behind it, behind that vow. And now let's treat for that. So right here, right now, I speak this word in the I am, which is the I am in each and every one of us. I am whole, perfect, and complete. It's who I am as an individualized expression of the divine. I know the divine would not create me broken, incomplete, unfinished. It sees me as whole, perfect, and complete in every breath and every heartbeat. And it loves me unconditionally, so no matter how often I forget, it is there to remind me. Whether it is by looking in the eyes of someone I love, or seeing a beautiful sunset or sunrise, experiencing Mother Nature in a beautiful way, being gifted with something I didn't expect, or simply being alive. Those moments when I experience awe and wonder are the gifts and the reminders that who and what I am is an individualized expression of the one, and it's whole, perfect, and complete exactly the way it is. So today, as I make this vow to live more and more from my wholeness, I realize that every time I do, any place I thought I was broken literally dissolves. It doesn't require any work. I just let go and bring my attention back to my inherent wholeness, and I allow the blessings of life to reveal themselves, to fill me, to fuel me, to guide me, to protect me, and to remind me that my life is a gift and a blessing. My consciousness decided to arrive here so that I could expand my heart and my mind and my soul in the perfect right way. Perfect with a P, the kind of perfect that has no opposite. And so I remember today. And I take this remembrance with me and I let it shine so bright that the holidays don't just become a gift for me, but for everyone I come in contact with. I am the blessing this holiday season for myself and for others in the most sweet and simple ways. And so it is.
sacred plan. I know that it's true when all that I am comes down to you. I know that it's true. I know that I can rely on you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. My thoughts and my mind belong to eternal time. My words and my song, you're writing them all along. I know that it's true when all that I am comes down to you. I know that it's true. I know that I can rely on you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. All that I am, I surrender to the all that I am, God, I give to you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. All that I am, I surrender to the all that I am, God, I give to you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. All that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to
That's Daniel Maymod, All That I Am, from his CD Sacred Love. So I want to do a couple of announcements, and then we're going to do our love offering. We have a lot going on at our center. This Wednesday, I'm doing a workshop on Zoom called The Holiday Blues and Reds and Greens. That's mostly for anybody who feels challenged during the holidays. We're going to flip that one over and turn that one around. So please register for that as soon as you can so we know you're coming. Today is the last day for the collection that we're doing for the inmates at the Morris County Correction Facility, where I have the honor of teaching meditation. And if anybody says, oh, I forgot, and you can still make a financial donation, just give it to me so we can keep it all separate. And Laurie is going to help. She's going to take all that to Calvary tomorrow, and she's going to help putting gift bags together. If anybody else wants to help, just talk to Laurie, and she'll tell you all about it. Today is the book discussion group of Untethered, and we're doing part 4 of 5 parts. So next week is the last one, so you can join me in our multi-purpose room, and we're going to explore the next part of the book. Then we are participating in the World Healing Meditation. This has been happening since 1986. John Randolph Price and his lovely wife, whose name I forgot at the moment, started the World Healing Meditation, and it's every New Year's Eve day at 7 a.m. We're going to have it right here in the sanctuary. It's an hour where people all over the planet at the same time are meditating for world healing. It's really powerful. The interesting things about the holiday this year is that New Year's Eve is on a Sunday. So I'll be here at 6:30. It doesn't matter whether you're going to join me or not. I'll be meditating for world healing. You're all invited. And then at 11 o'clock is our Sunday celebration. So maybe we'll find a place to have breakfast or something. We'll come up with something. So the flyers are all over here. And then something I'm really excited about is that in January, a whole new year begins. And Kat is going to offer another sound bath for us. She's done that before, and it's on the 14th after Sunday celebration. Please register for that, because we're going to be lying down on the floor in here, so you can imagine there's room for maybe 15 to 20 people. So once we are at that max, it's closed unless you want to be in the hallway, which is a possibility, right? We'll open those doors. And then at night, Hannah Grotowski, who is a new friend of our community, is starting a restorative yoga class. It's going to be every 2 weeks on Zoom. So that's going to be fun. I love that she picked Sunday nights. Sunday nights, I watch 60 Minutes, I admit it. But 60 Minutes can wait. We have on demand, right? We can save it. But at 7 o'clock, restorative yoga for about an hour, and then, start your week, which is so great. And last but not least, if you like to make a tax-deductible donation and participate in our year-end giving, you can do so. Just mark your gift that way. There's flyers over there with our Venmo code. That's true as well for our donations. So we're going to do a love offering now. Nobody signed up to facilitate social hour for the next few Sundays. So if somebody says, you know what, I would love to bring some cookies and cake for Christmas Eve day or New Year's Eve day, the sign-up sheet is right there on the door, and I will help you with that. So I'm going to pass this basket. If you would like to give today, we welcome that. If you're not able, we love you just as much, and you can also give online. And the list of how to do all that is in the back by the lamp there, because you can do auto giving, which is my personal favorite. Or use an envelope. That way we can designate your gift, and you'll receive a letter of your donations for the year. And let's do our affirmation. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless. It returns to me multiplied abundantly. As I share my goods, I accept my greater good. And so it is. Thank you all for being here today. As some of you know, last week I forgot to turn the volume on our live stream, and it was my anniversary, so I got to talk about everything I learned. But on Tuesday, I came in here and repeated that in the Q&A that Susan facilitated. So be sure, if you haven't seen it, to check that out on YouTube and on Facebook, because I think it was a fun day. And I thank you all for your love and your support. And that's the end. Have a beautiful day. Thank you.